Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Dice Tower. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Mike DeLisio.
I'm Z Garcia.
And this is it. We're almost done with the Winter Spectacular, and we have. I get so excited about this list every year. This is my favorite list by a mile to make each year of the. I don't know. I like the retrospect of the year.
Big time.
But before we jump into talking about the year as a whole, we do want to get a couple things done here. First of all, we want to say thank you to several of our Kickstarter backers. We want to say thank you to Amos Keel, to Joshua Chambly, Kelly Glade Kleinman, Brent Coford, You Go.
Girl.
No, it's You Guo. Sorry. That's my fault. But also Z.
Z's fault for
Joe Whitborn, Wes Taylor, Patrick Schumann, Jeff Freeman, and Kyle Millard. Thank you to all of you guys for backing our Kickstarter.
Thank you so much.
And Freeman.
And if you want to find out when our Dice Tower Kickstarter 2023 goes live, you can sign up to be notified about that. Just go to dicetowerkickstarter.com and you'll see the landing page for next year's Kickstarter.
One of the biggest fruits of the last Kickstarter is right here, this room.
Yes.
It's exciting to be able to debut it during the Winter Spectacular. It was a big project.
It is nice to have that done, actually.
Yeah, no kidding.
That was a while.
Yeah,
Of course, I'm doing the same thing now at my house. Like, I just finished. All right, but we also have a great contest here for you. So we talk a lot over the course of the year. One of our sponsors, GameNerds.com. Game Nerds, great place to go. Some of the people here check them every day for the daily deal.
Some of them have a alarm on their phone that goes off.
A literal alarm.
At 1 every day for the deal of the day.
And we are all trained to know what that alarm
It's like
means.
Pavlov's Kenny.
Do you start like salivating and you're like a new game?
I do.
But
My
they do
wallet
have
starts flying away.
They do have great games. Anyway, we're giving out a $50 gift certificate.
Wait, you didn't say 50.
I said 50.
Hello.
Is it me again? Okay, anyway. A $50 gift certificate, and all you have to do to enter this contest is email us at contest@dicetower.com. And in the subject line, put the word WS22, which stands for Winter Spectacular 22, which is almost over. That's some.
That was a real open weeping.
That was the weeping emoji for sure.
That's a little bit of anime weeping there.
Oh, like the big like
the rivers.
And I fill the room with tears.
Yeah.
Anyhow, good luck. Make sure you put your address in there in case you win. Even though it is a digital certificate.
One, but yeah.
Shut up, Mike. I don't know. Okay. All right, 2022. I say this every time. I said at the very beginning of the thing, but I'll repeat it here. It was a great year for gaming. There's a gazillion games that come out. I can only fit 10 in this thing.
Correct.
Happily, in about 2 hours, I'll play my 11 through 20.
What?
Yeah.
That's what you
Cheating.
get. That's what
Also, yeah.
We've covered a lot of games for the year also during the entire Winter Spectacular.
Yes, we have.
We've covered all sorts of lists. Top games for 2 players, for single players, top games for no players.
Did he call you
good-looking
a
games.
single player?
Look, OK Cupid. Top games for OK Cupid.
There's what?
You meant solo, not single. We know you.
I'm not single. I am a
For
happily
one
married
singular
man.
player.
Yeah,
That's what
now
that
we get
means.
back.
That's correct.
Okay, don't get on me about English, okay? I will obliterate and decimate you.
I was waiting for decimate to come back. It's a callback.
It's a callback, folks. Tune into the rest of the.
Also, again, as I said, we can't get every game played under the sun. There's going to be games that are on Mike's list that I have not played, at least one. I haven't played any of
you think you know my games.
I know at least 2 on your list, if only because you've been very coy about not talking about them at all.
Coy.
And I know
clue.
I don't know what your number 1 is. I'm very curious, and I have it down between 2 games.
Okay.
But I'm curious.
What about
I have
me?
no clue.
It's because you don't care as much. Okay? Because I know everything about your list.
Well, you looked at it when I wasn't here.
Yes, correct. But I know everything about your list now.
I will say this. I think
And your social. Yeah, go ahead.
I think that this year's list for me personally is more of an outlier than any of my other top 10 of 2021, 2020.
Okay. He
For
means
the
outlier, Tom, by the way.
outlier. Okay. Don't get on me about English, sir. I will decimate you. In that, I think this is a reflection of, at least for this period, a taste in gaming change a little bit. My tastes this year have skewed a bit lighter.
Would you say they've sort of seesawed from what they used to be?
Don't break my heart because I didn't put that game on. Because technically,
Yeah.
it was just Kickstarter for the English speaking market. It's not on my list.
Technically, neither you nor Knizia care.
I'm just
Fern
telling
as
you,
much?
it could be on the list next year is all I'm saying. But
Okay.
this is just, I think it's more of a
You're what?
reflection. My tastes have definitely skewed a bit lighter this year, light to
Okay.
medium, and I
Okay.
think that's reflected in my list.
I have a serious spread of games here. This is, and it's again a reflection on the year really having. The only thing I don't have on my list is a heavy Euro game.
Yeah.
Everything else I've got covered.
Okay.
There is all sorts of flavors and styles here, which I am very happy with. I thought it was a good year.
A very diverse year, lots of different
Yeah.
types of games that hit different types of genres, and yeah, looking forward to. I really this year more than any other. Don't know what you guys have on your list. I thought I had a better handle in previous years.
Well, 100%. We're going to. I mean, I have mine. My list is big, but there's already people are calling out games in the comments, and I'm like, yeah, some of those are really great games, and they're in my 11 through 20, which I would be very content to have them as my 1 through 10. Always, I always say. that.
And if I have any stupid choices on here, and there's one you think I should have had, that's also in my 11 through 20.
Oh, and Vagrant Song came out for us in 2021.
Correct.
So keep that in mind.
Correct.
Yeah, well, they were on our list last year.
Are we ready? Are we ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
Let's do it. Yeah.
No, we're not.
No,
we're not ready. Let's riff a little longer. So, what was your favorite meal of the year?
Yeah, let's talk about crossovers, guys. Let's figure that out.
Okay, that's a good call. Because
I'm going to say 1.5 crossovers.
I don't see it, but I don't want to. I will say that there will be.
I have no
One there.
crossovers with Z.
I disagree. You have one for sure
I think we
that
may.
you don't realize is on my list.
I think we may have one three-way crossover.
No way. No way.
You don't think so?
I'm going to have one with Mike right here. I'm literally writing this out, by the way. Mike has this one. Tom has this one. That one's on Mike's list. I think that's it, because I don't think this is going to make... Oh, and this is a three-way.
This is riveting
Wow.
TV. Can we go yet?
Yep. Two with...
No,
I'm gonna call it. Again, I'm going to say it as they come up, because I do think there is one three-way, a fairly recent
I
game
think there's one
that is on all
three-way
our lists.
crossover.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I put together Tom's 10 more great games, and I've completely forgot what was on it. So
Yeah.
I don't
That's
know.
true. You know 11 through 20.
And
you know what?
I should, but I don't.
I meant to not give that to you for that reason. I was
Well,
like, well, that would...
You can rest assured in the fact that I have absolutely zero memory of what was on that list. So, we're going to be all right. Yes, we're
Okay.
good to go. We got the go-ahead, and we also have a... All right, number 10. Let's start this list off strong. My number 10 is actually the game that I am predicting is the three-way crossover. We'll find out. You can't react now. I put you in a
Right, no, I mean, I'm a poker player through and through. Go ahead and try.
Get your stoic non-expression face in line. My number 10 is a racing game. And for me, racing games need to feel like a race. Heat, pedal to the metal, feels like a race.
Okay, actually, I'm going to break you all. Sorry. Here's the deal. It is inching towards my top 10.
It's not in your top 10?
Wow.
I hadn't played it, actually.
It is also not
You
in
may
my
not-
top 10.
You may not have played it before you made your list.
No, I did play it, but I had only played it a couple times,
Okay.
and we just played it again live. It's
Right.
moving up,
Yeah.
but it is not in my top 10.
Okay, all right,
But I
well-
think it's a fantastic game.
It really is. So this whole idea of Days of Wonder is back, I think that's a bit overstated. I think even their games that weren't as impressive were still solid games. But this feels like a classic Days of Wonder game.
touch me.
This feels like a game that will be obviously supported. They're going to clearly add new tracks and
Yes.
very easy to kind of expand this. But it's just a racing game with clever card play. It plays quickly. It's very modular. You can add, you can play amongst a wide variety of gamers. If you want to play the base game, most gamers will be able to pick that up after a round or two. If you want to play with heavier gamers, you can throw in the weather and the asymmetric cars and all this kind of stuff. It has great AI opponents that are a breeze to run. So if you're playing at 2 players or even 1 player, you can have more cars on the track. everything about this game is done well. The art by Vincent Dutrait is, of course, stunning. The production is great. My number 10, Heat.
I'll go
Pedal
for
to the
that.
metal.
I think this will possibly be considered one of the greatest racing board games of all time.
It's already way up there for me because I like it much better than Formula D. You know what I mean? So
I agree.
Formula E.
Formula E, it's going to take a little time to catch up to those elephants.
Those heffalumps don't play.
The elephants have a huge head start, but
Heffalumps don't play.
F1 cars could catch up on elephants pretty quick.
All right, what do you got?
My number 10 is a game that came and went with what I would have expected to be a bang, but it was more of a whimper, especially from this publisher
the dice game.
with some pedigree. This is Now or Never.
Wow.
Now or Never. What happened? Somebody
too
explain
long.
this to me.
It's too long is the problem.
It's too gorgeous.
It is
what it is, okay?
It made
the
my-
combat in it is too good. That's what I think, okay? This game has fantastic combat that I think makes up for, yes, it being a little bit long. Which, again, there were extra rules that came out online
Right,
that
you
make
could
the game
shorten it.
shorter.
Oh, I haven't played those.
personally don't like that because his method to make the game shorter is literal cutting out of content you won't experience. I don't like that, you know what I mean?
Right.
I'd rather just settle in for a long session. I'm not scared about long games. I love long games.
That's
Quote
true.
me
There's
on
one
that.
thing I know about you, yeah.
Okay, everybody knows that. I really, though, like the way combat in this works. This is my favorite part, by far. This idea of just you feel like you're getting better, like you're leveling up, like you have new things that you have access to.
Right.
The exploration is abstracted enough to really clean up the system and make it incredibly accessible.
Yeah.
I think Ryan Lockett, the designer here, who's also the publisher and the artist, all of that, has done a lot of exploration in his sort of adventure games,
Yes.
where he goes really big and open-ended. Then combat might be a little funky. That's Sleeping Gods generally is sort of considered that. Then he takes some of that and repurposes this part, but not this. And he's like a little bit of a mad scientist when it comes to this. He keeps sort of putting different pieces together. I think this one is a solid game. Is it perfect? No. Yes, it's too long. And again, I understand all of that. But it was not a miss. And it feels like this year treated this game like a miss.
You have a point there. Yeah, it did not make the splash, and I would agree that I think the combat is
Oh, that's a great
much
combat
better
system.
than the Sleeping Gods
Yeah.
combat.
I don't know. I like it, obviously.
It made my top 10 art of the year.
Yeah.
So
There you go. That's my number 10, Now or Never.
What you're going to notice as we do all these different top 10s is that there's not going to be any consensus, honestly. I think we're all going to have different number ones, and you'll find different number ones across all the different lists for the most part. But my number 10, I think, is a game that will show up on more top 10 lists than others, I think.
Wingspan.
I have a guess, but okay.
No, but it's a different animal. It's dragons,
Yeah.
and that is Flamecraft. Flamecraft, which I was originally interested in because the artwork is super cute. And
Yes.
that definitely is a part of this game. There's a lot of cute dragons. The fact that each of the stores is a completely, almost like a full-blown painting. And just, they're fantastic. But I really like the gameplay of this a lot. It's a worker placement game, worker movement game, I guess. There's these kind of games that Yamatai does this, where you have one worker, and you're moving it to a new spot. But the spots are changing and morphing and getting better and giving you resources. And then you collect these resources and turn them in to get stuff. And that's the whole game.
Yep.
But it plays very smoothly. It's very welcoming is a strong word. But I would say that, you mentioned Wingspan. All joking aside, I think this game is the same level as Wingspan.
I mentioned Wingspan.
Yeah.
You mentioned Wingspan. I'm
There
sorry.
you go. Yeah.
You're-
Don't look
you're
at
trash.
Mike when you're talking. There you go. Yes. Yes. This is
He
one
told me to say it.
All right,
This is
well,
one
look,
I
if you're
haven't
gonna
played
conform
yet.
so quickly.
This is a blind spot for me this year so far.
Yeah,
I
think
really
so.
want to get this played. Yeah. It sounds like a very, like you said, approachable game, and then that artwork on top of it. I'm in. I'm a shallow gamer. I've always said that. If people know any one thing about me, I'm a shallow gamer.
No, two things, because you like long games.
Long
I like long games.
And you're a shallow gamer.
And I'm a shallow gamer. By
Good
the
enough.
end of the top 10 today, it'll be like that game where you have to keep listing things.
Oh, I was going to do the 12
Oh,
the 12,
yeah.
12
You know what I
attributes of Zemus.
Yeah.
He likes long games. He is shallow.
and we'll keep going as
We'll
the
get there.
top
Okay.
10 goes.
We'll get there. All right, 9. Number 9.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, if you had any idea. If you had any idea. Oh, and it's for that, too.
I know.
All right.
Cool. Oh my gosh,
go
so
ahead,
smooth.
Chuck.
So incredibly smooth.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain there. All right, my number 9
Terrible.
is a game that I call, it has a bit of a subtitle for me. It's technically called Mille Fiori, number 9, but I call it Ganz Schön Knizia. That's so Knizia. This is Reiner Knizia.
Since when have you called it that?
I've called it that since like the first time I played it.
That's a dumb name.
Trademark 2022, Mike DeLisio. Also, Knizia will sue me. All right, so this is a game that is a very, very clever game of almost mini games where you are drafting cards in a slightly out of the ordinary way, although familiar enough if you've played drafting games. And you're placing cards. Every turn, you're going to play a card, and you're going to take one of these lovely looking little glass, plastic
They're not
pieces.
glass.
Yeah, and place them on one of these areas on the board. I think there are 5 different areas, and they each score differently. But every time you place a token down, you're going to score. So it has that feeling of, just positive reinforcement, positive reinforcement, positive reinforcement, and comboing. And that's why I go with the Ganshon Clever. So, the Ganshon Clever type of a thing is that as the game goes on, if you set yourself up well, you're able to set yourself up well, you can have these very satisfying turns where playing one card is going to allow you to just do a bunch of things, play more cards, get bonus actions, get a bunch of points. It feels so good. It's a very, very smooth game. It's mathematically, as you would expect, it feels tight.
Rock solid.
Rock solid. It is completely and utterly themeless. I know that Knizia gets hammered on that for a lot, sometimes for reasons and sometimes for not. This is a pretty themeless game, but it's beautiful.
Yeah, I don't care about that. It's fun.
It's a lovely looking abstract, combo-tastic, point salad type of a game.
What?
You don't care about the themes?
For this one, I
No,
don't.
I care about themes, but for this game, it works so well.
It does.
Was this game marked 2021? Because I'm trying to figure out why it wasn't on my lists.
It
It wouldn't have made my top 10. I like it a lot, though.
No, I
it's
checked.
Furnace all over again.
It's not. I checked. Yeah, I checked. I believe it's 2022. I'm pretty sure it's 2022 because actually,
Thanks, Donald.
the English language version here in North America, I think, is just now available. I have like a German and a French copy.
that is true for sure.
Yeah, but I do think it's listed as a 2022 release in BGG. Someone can confirm or not, but I believe it is. I think I checked all of mine to make sure. Regardless, my number 9
That was a really long roundabout politician's
Furnace.
answer,
No,
wasn't
no,
it?
not Furnace. Mille Fiori.
That was definitely a politician's answer. You're like, I'm pretty sure I checked. I don't know. To
I
the
had
best of my
people-
recollection.
My people check your people.
What does Millie mean? All right, go ahead.
All right, my number 9 is one that I am 98% sure is going to be on your list.
Okay.
That's my that's a percentage I'm comfortable with. And this is Massive Darkness 2, Hellscape.
Oh.
Okay?
I can't deal with the Hellscape part.
If there's one thing people know about me, I like big baddies. Okay, I like nasty, big, demonic creatures.
He
and what?
likes big baddies. He likes long games. And oh, I'm not there yet. Sorry.
Yeah, shallow.
And he's very shallow.
No, you gotta save that bit. You gotta save that bit. Massive Darkness 2 takes everything that Massive Darkness did and throws it all away and just starts again. I don't know why it's called Massive Darkness 2.
I think that actually hurt the sales of it a lot.
I think so too.
Yes, I know, and I know it hurt my interest in it.
Why would you follow up a game and name it 2 of something when the first one is one of your less popular things?
Yes.
Call it Blood Rage 2 and do whatever. I mean, call it anything. Don't call it after one of yours.
Right.
Because it's not really the same thing. There's a little bit of the whole light and shadow thing, but it's barely there. They're very different, really. And I think it blows away the first one. The first one was a game that felt slow. You trudged through it to make some progress. Man, this is zippy. This is a game that in one session You are leveling up quick. You're knocking fools out. You're going, boom, I'm unlocking
It's not a
this.
campaign.
It's not a campaign. You can do that, but it doesn't have to be. And on top of that, and this is brand new, the players feel different because if you're playing a druid and I'm playing a bard, we're doing essentially different things.
Yes.
You're playing badly. I'm playing like a rock star. Plus, the mechanisms are different. So I really like the way that the game works out. I really like what it's doing. Massive Darkness 2 is a solid miniatures game. One that I think, again, unfortunately, just like Now or Never, is going to suffer from... I think it's a bit of a slow burn, though.
I think you're right.
I think it's getting traction. It's been getting traction slowly. But I think out of the gate, a lot of people are going to go, ooh, Massive Darkness. I got the first one. I'll let it go.
Yeah.
Or I'm not that interested. I don't want more of it.
Right.
It's its own thing. I recommend it.
Yeah, this is one of my blind spot games. I haven't played this, but everything I've been hearing, so.
Yeah, you need to play.
My number 9, I think, was on Mike's surprise list. But let's get into some big giant games, and this is from Forbidden Games, and it's Mosaic.
It was on my surprise
Was on your
list.
surprise list. Man, I'm always that elusive civilization game.
Yeah, right.
It's a hard thing to do. And Glenn Drover has messed with this before. He's done Age, War of Imperialism, a game just called War. And he's done these big games. And those games were all pretty dismal failures comparatively. This one, though, man, it's smooth. The only minor flaw is it takes a bit to set up this. You put these tokens all over the map. It takes a while to place them all over the map. But once you get that and you're playing, it is... I don't want... what's it? A synonym for zippy, because that's what you always say. But it's zippy. It
zippy.
really is.
Zippity-doo-dah.
I got a feeling. Anyway, just being able to say, okay, I'm going to take resources.
Right.
And a lot of resources. I'm going to spend resources. I'm going to build this. I'm going to get technology cards. I'm collecting sets. It is more abstracted than many Civilization games are, but I think that's for the betterment. I
think you
really
have
do.
to. If you want your Ziv game to be a little better, you need to go a little more abstract. That seems to be the way to do it.
And
this is a blind spot for me too. I haven't played this yet.
Raccoon Tycoon, you can definitely see that he took the ideas from that one.
Oh.
In Raccoon Tycoon, you do one small thing on your turn.
Yep.
Same thing here, and it works really well. Fantastic game, Mosaic.
All right. My number 8 is a game that surprised me quite a bit, but it didn't make my surprises list because instead it made my top 10 list. And I tried
Better. That's the higher tier to make.
That is correct. I did not to cross over any on those lists. It is a
Viking
game.
Seesaw. Viking Seesaw.
It is not Viking Seesaw. It's the other end of the spectrum where Viking
Seesaw
Seesaw
Vikings.
is small, dainty, and petite. This is huge, grandiose, especially if you get the deluxe edition. It's Wonderland's War. My number 8 is Wonderland's War. Look, this is a game that I was very tentative going into it. I thought this looks bloated, overly complicated. I don't feel like it is that. I feel like if the main, beef against it is that it is a bit longer than I would like, but the experience is so good. I mean, it really, really is a clever, clever game. This IP has been done a lot, the Alice in Wonderland, but this I feel like is a unique take on it. The art certainly doesn't hurt. The art in this is, I think this was my number 1 art of the year, was Wonderland's War, if I remember correctly. Just a really solid game of area control, bag building, where you are kind of building up your abilities. Super clever game, and really interactive, right? It just kind of has this great presence around the board where everyone is very interested what everyone is doing, right? They talk about multiplayer solitaire a lot. This ain't that.
It is not. That is correct.
There's a lot of interaction, but it does it in a way where I'll tell you, and this is a neat trick to pull off. It doesn't feel mean to me. It doesn't feel arbitrary or mean. Now, it can be mean, but it doesn't feel arbitrary.
Okay, it does feel arbitrary.
Yeah.
And I would argue that the Jabberwocky's power is...
Yeah.
I'm glad there's 5 players because
Sure.
I don't want to play with the Jabberwocky.
I usually don't. Yeah, if I have my druthers, I'm with you on that. But generally speaking, really, really solid game, a tremendous production. I have to say, I have only played with the ultra fancy one.
And you never will do otherwise.
I don't think I won't, but I will tell you, the gameplay is solid enough no matter what edition you're playing. There you go. That is Wonderland's War.
Yeah, this is not going to be a crossover.
Okay.
This one just missed my top 10, and you'll see it later on in my 11 through 20.
Gotcha.
I think very highly of it. I just think it was an amazing year.
Yeah.
But this is good. This one grew on me the more I played it. And yes, you're right. Total interactiveness. I like it.
Not one I've played, and not one I've wanted to play.
I would not recommend this one to you, actually.
Okay. What would you recommend?
Well, you like Tidal Blades, right?
Yeah.
I thought Tidal Blades was overwrought. This
Okay.
one looks overwrought,
And
and,
it's not.
honestly,
Yeah, maybe
it could have a little rounded corners probably in
Sure,
spots,
sure,
but
sure.
it feels more cohesive.
It does. Yeah, there's two distinct phases. You're doing
Like, I would have cut the betting.
Ooh, I don't know if I would have cut the betting.
It just it feels like it was like, oh, you're not in this battle. Bet on who wins. I'm like, fine.
It gives you a little something to do. It gives you a little something
yeah,
to do.
I would have cut it because I would have just cut one small mechanism.
I guess.
All right, my number 8 is a game called 10 Penny Parks.
Not surprised at
Yeah,
all.
not
in this
surprised.
10 Penny
either.
Parks here is one that also grew on me. You were talking about the last one growing on you, Tom. This one grew on me because the game has this interesting timing quality where it feels really short the first time you play. There's not that many. They represent months in the game, but they're turns. There's not very many turns in the game, and so each one and every action you take, therefore, is incredibly important. And so you don't want to be, you have to be mindful with the actions you are taking. But this is one of those good soup kind of games. There's tile laying, and that's fun. There is, it has a little bit of the Barren Park thing with the growing of the tiles in front of you. You have to chop down trees to make room. That's neat. And then some tile laying. So a little worker placement, buying attractions to put out in your park. But then the fun bit, I thought it's a small twist, but the twist here is advertising your rides. Is a way in which you can buy points straight up throughout the game.
That's just bribery.
Yeah, you're bribing fools to come to your park. Probably like officials, actually, like, listen, I know a bunch of kids died on this ride last week. Also, look at this stack of cash. And I'm okay with
Your
that.
10 Penny Parks is a lot darker than mine.
It is. It's very like, the rides are run with the blood of the fools that have died
I'm
upon
not
them.
riding on his flume.
I'll tell you
If that's
what.
okay.
So, I like that idea, and so I like that you can spend the money and advertise and buy points, or save that money to go into the next round with some liquidity. So, yeah, it's neat. I really like it. It's gorgeous, like you were saying. Vincent Dutrait artwork. It's fun. It's kind of a family weight game.
Yeah.
I really enjoy this one. And another one that didn't get a lot of love this year has been tough on a couple of games.
Well,
don't
I
know.
think overall, it's tough on all games.
Yeah.
Very few games are going to get great outpourings. That's a rarity nowadays.
Yeah,
I guess so.
Lots and lots of popular games. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't play this one for a while. I finally got around to playing it because of theme parks and Vincent Dutrait. That's like
Right.
automatic.
Yeah, I know you like theme park games.
I like it, not as much as you guys, but I thought it was a very solid, good game.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Interesting. I thought you loved that. Okay.
He likes that theme.
The theme, that's what I meant.
No,
the
I
theme.
do
Yeah,
love
yeah.
the theme.
Oh, I got
Doesn't
this.
necessarily mean I love
He
the
didn't
game.
like this game that much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, Z definitely
It was
liked
too
it the
dark
most.
for him.
Right.
No,
It's
well, yeah,
all
well,
the
yours
blood,
is.
all the blood that is greasing the wheels of the death machines.
My number 8 is a crossover with Z's surprise list.
Ooh.
Oh,
Okay, the last one was Mosaic was a crossover with
Right.
him. This one's a crossover with you. This is Revive.
Oh, wow.
I really like this game a lot, and
Hope you don't need that pen.
I'm not gonna need it.
I'll tell you what, I definitely have a type of, this is the same thing I'm saying about Mosaic. I like games that give you quick, short actions in the next person's turn, then another action, and then it's the next person's turn. I love that. And this one, you're just pulling all kinds of levers throughout this game,
Yes.
and every one that you pull is something fun. It's a deck building game where the deck building is such a not important part of the game in a sense.
I like deck building when it's a part of the whole.
Yes.
I feel like,
But it's also very
unfortunately-
minor here.
It is. I love that. I don't like when deck building is the only crutch
Yep.
that some game uses. Like, we don't know how to deliver this theme. Vampires in the Old West. Deck building.
Yeah.
No. when it's used as part of something
Right.
cleverly, like this game does it, then I'm in.
Yeah, but this, I mean, it has a little bit of deck building, which you like. It has moving on tracks in a really weird way. You're moving around and they're multiplying. It has a tech tree,
Yes.
which I'm a big fan of.
Yep.
You have cards that nobody else has. You can, when you play an action, upgrade that action. I'm just like, yes, yes, yes. I'm sad that the distribution in America is so terrible for this game.
They've had trouble.
I have no idea when you'll be able to get it. And I feel bad almost mentioning it for that reason, but I can't not say it's one of my favorite games of the year, because it
Yeah.
is.
Yep.
I just think it's fantastic. And like I said, I love the whole short action, short action, short action, short action. So, yeah, someone says it's a game have a theme. Yes, it's post-apocalyptic. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's just a fun game.
Yeah, I didn't like it as much. I liked it, but the card cycling I thought was brilliant. I loved the way the card cycled.
Yeah, it's really neat. So my number 8, Revive.
Oh my God.
It's complete carnage in here. This is an absolute travesty.
This was Chris's idea.
It was.
And we all see how well that went.
My number 7 is a game that kind of came out of nowhere. There we go.
Thanks.
My number 7 is a game that for me a bit came out of nowhere in the sense that it was a game that was kickstarted by a publisher where I had liked their previous game, small publisher. For one reason or another, I didn't back the game. Z backed it, who backs almost nothing.
You complain about every time you don't back games.
You do back a lot, yeah.
Z
yeah.
got the game in. I did more and more research.
Is this the one I haven't played yet?
Yeah. Got so enamored
played this
with
yet
what
either,
I was
Mike.
reading, and he hasn't played it yet.
Wait, you own it and haven't played it?
Yes, that happens to you too, you know.
That I
No,
bought
all
it.
my games are owned by the Dice Tower, not me.
Oh,
That I
jeez.
bought it. Yes, my 7-minute lead-in. My number 7
make the
is
list already.
Lands of Galzer.
Galzier, maybe?
No, I've heard him pronounce it Galzer.
I
Sammy,
say Galzier and I'm right.
I said Galzier too, but then I heard Sammy, and I'm probably mispronouncing his name, in a live play say
Galzer.
Galzer. So this is
Fine.
a game. Now, I need to say this very upfront if this is a game that you are potentially interested in checking out. This is a game where mechanics come second. Very much mechanics come second.
I wanna play this
is
so much.
a narrative first game, all right? It is a game with a whole bunch of cards where you are choosing a character, and there are different characters that are slightly asymmetric, and you are traveling about this board, this world board, and it could be either side, it could be a summer or winter. You're going to get a random month that you start your session in, right? It's very odd. It's not really a campaign game. It's not a legacy game. It's just a storytelling game where you take this character...
Story-driven game.
Story-driven game, yeah.
Not storytelling.
No, yeah, story-driven game.
Right.
Now, it does have a web app that will do most of the stories. Like, most of the actual narrative is through an app that you kind of read off, and then you're doing dice checks. And those dice checks are going to be based primarily on skills that you start the game with, but can change, can upgrade. It's a very streamlined system of... You have to like narrative, right? And kind of be in this open world
do.
and do anything you want.
I want to.
There's little side quests that, yeah, you can go to if you want to, or you can completely ignore them.
I won't.
You have companions that'll show up, and they have their own little quests. Hey, are you going to help me out here? I've got this issue. You can decide to do that or not.
Oh, I thought that might get annoying after a
Oh,
while.
no, you kidding? No, I doubt it.
But not only is the writing very, very good, which is
Yeah.
important for a game where that's really the main hook,
Yeah.
but it does the best job of game with bunch of cards and a save system that actually works. It really does only take you maybe 3 minutes to put it away, maybe 3 minutes to bring it back out. It's a very, very well done system for that, and that usually is the thing that loses me in these games.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah, I
I
agree.
don't want to take 20 minutes
Yeah.
figuring out where I was, setting it all back up. Super smart, super streamlined. It's very new. I think mostly
Yeah.
it's been Kickstarter backers, although I was able to get it, in another way. But really, really good game. Lands of Galzer.
He stole it. In another way, he said in another way.
I stole it.
Anyone want to sell me this game? I really want to get a copy of this. I'm very excited about it. I forgot this existed until you
Good
came in
luck.
and mentioned it to me
Good
earlier
luck,
today.
brah.
Good.
Well, now after Mike just put on the list, it's sold out everywhere.
It's sold out everywhere, okay?
Wow.
My copy's gone.
That's right. It just disappeared from your house.
He has an auto put on.
Your game just got Thanos. Goodbye.
Oh, man. Good thing Thanos didn't care about board games. That'd be a
That's true.
terrible.
That would be.
That would be interesting. A board game snap.
All monopolies.
Marvel Snap.
My number 7 is one that I suspect will be on Mike's list. It has to be. In fact, if I still had my pen, I would write Mike's name next to it. My number 7 is Skate Summer.
Which?
Skate Summer.
Oh, never
Wasn't
heard
this somebody's number one?
It was Camilla's
Camilla's
number
number
one.
one.
Okay.
Spoiler for that list.
That happened already, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if someone hasn't watched,
No,
watch
they've
it in reverse
watched it.
order.
You got to watch this stuff in order, just like Marvel movies. Skate Summer here is it's a really neat grouping of things I was not sure would work together. This idea
Yes.
of, like, whenever I read a rule book, and the rule book read on this before I even played it, I thought, that reads well. I think this is going to be a good one. In fact, I think I came out of, like, reading it.
You did.
And I was like, Mike, I think this is going to be a good one, right?
You
Something
did.
like that. But whenever a game has very distinct part, they're like, part 1,
Yep.
Viking seesaw thing.
Viking Seesaw.
Part 2,
Is that a
skate-
skateboard move?
Can be.
The Viking seesaw?
it's a little bit of a
gonna,
thing, yeah.
I'm going to crack a Viking Seesaw.
So that's part 1. Then part 2 is this sort of like board traversal thing. And part 3 is this other thing. It's like really different
It really is.
stuff. I thought, ooh, I'm always worried about that when it feels like they were like, I also like deck building. So we're putting that in, and ooh, worker placement. Shove that in there. But this game, it really works. Everything connects. It flows. It makes
Yeah.
sense. You are putting out the cards to pull off the trick, but then you scoop them up to move around the board. And then those cards can also give you this other thing. And you collect these tokens for the whatever. I think it's solid. It really works well. The board is a little busy. That's my one sort
It
of
is.
little comment about it. But gameplay, the engagement, and that's from me not even being a big skating fan or like a Tony Hawk fan.
Yeah.
If you are, you should just go get this.
Right.
If you like those video games. So, yeah, I thought Skate Summer was a slam dunk this year from Pandasaurus. One of the best games this year, in my opinion, obviously, and therefore my number 7.
My number 7
It's a crossover.
is no way a crossover because neither of you have played this game.
Oh, man.
And you never will. And you say you will, but you never will.
Because I'm shallow and I don't like short games? Okay, try
Say
me.
I
What is it?
will.
You even didn't
but
play
I
the
never
first,
will.
the first sequel. This is the sequel. This is the biggest game on my list, and that is Frosthaven.
Oh, no, I'm not playing this.
Yeah, I don't think so. Wait.
Frosthaven. This had like a little Kickstarter,
Yeah,
right?
you might have heard about this. Okay, so Frosthaven, and I'll be doing a full review in a couple weeks of Frosthaven, and also comparing it to Gloomhaven.
I wonder if you liked it.
Well, it's on the list there. Although some people might be surprised it's not number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even
you're
though-
about to get serious hate mail.
Yeah, I know, like garbage. This is a gigantic game. It is bigger than Gloomhaven by quite a bit. There's more story.
Good.
There's more game because you're also building up the city of Frosthaven over the course of the game. It is more complex in the sense that
Good,
even
finally. I mean, they needed to step up
even the
Gloomhaven.
easy characters in this game, I think, are more complex than many of the characters in Gloomhaven. But the story is very well written. They fixed a lot of problems. They added escape room stuff into the game.
Oh, really?
It's big. It's massive. When I pull it out, I mean, I had it out. I played, 30 hours of this or whatever, and I didn't move it off the table because I didn't want to put it away. That's a negative for sure. The
Yes.
storage, there's no good storage system for this
Yeah.
other than you should buy a house specifically for Frosthaven.
Right.
Set up maybe a shed, right? It's the Frosthaven shed.
Frost
Shit,
Shed.
Haven.
Frost shed.
Shed Haven.
Oh, shit's better, yeah.
Frost shed. Anyhow,
Shed Haven sounds a little gross.
it's really good. But if you don't like Gloomhaven, you ain't gonna like it. If you like Gloomhaven, you're going to like it. It's just more stuff. But it's not just Gloomhaven again. There's more things. They fixed a lot of stuff in Gloomhaven and then added a bunch more. But I do find it enjoyable.
Sure.
It is a lot of fun. It's
Yeah.
big and grandiose. And I'll talk more about it in my review.
Let's
I
get
got
ready
this
this
for you,
time.
Tom.
Yeah,
Here,
let's,
I'm going to get it
let's
started,
start
okay,
the
buddy?
scene.
Here you go.
Thanks.
There we go.
All right,
Number
thank you.
7, Frosthaven. Oh, a piece of trash.
See how calm that is? See?
All right.
That was calm. That was well planned.
My number 6
I got
is,
you.
what is it called? Dynasty? No. Haven't played it. I'm sure it's fantastic.
Oh, yes, I'm sure.
My number 6 is a game that I wonder if it's on Z's list. And if it's not, I wonder if it was close. It is certainly by one of his, if not his favorite designer. This is Orichalcum from Bruno Catala and is it Goopy?
Goopy?
Johannes Goopy, I believe. So look, this game just is, it clicks so many little levers for me. It is almost Cyclades adjacent in the map play, but it really doesn't feel anything like it. It's really just a very, we talk about snappy turns.
Yeah.
This has snappy turns. Also, you feel like you're in the game from turn 1. You feel like you're in the game from turn 1 here. Like you're doing stuff that is consequential from the first turn of the game.
I don't understand that phrase.
In other words,
I'm in every game in turn 1.
no, you're not. There are some
You
games.
Play some Frost
There's
see how
some
you
games
feel.
where you don't really feel like you are making consequential actions until maybe a third of the game in. You're building up.
Oh.
In this one, the first thing you're doing, you feel like this is driving you towards, essentially a race game.
It's a race to 5
Race to
points.
5
I mean,
points,
so
yes.
yes, every turn.
Every turn is, and you're
yeah.
right, and you're hyper focused on what the other players at the table are doing because there's a lot of competing goals that you're all working for. There are temporary points, which I love when it's pulled off well, like they are here. You've got these special kind of powers, these titans that will slot in and give you a point, but they can be taken from you. And not only will the power be taken from you, but that temporary point is taken from you as well. Very simple combat where you're rolling dice and you can add hoplites to kind of buff up your strength. This is such a good game.
Do you think I would like it?
I absolutely, well, Tom, I don't know.
Because whatever you say, I'm going to do the
Right.
opposite.
Whenever I feel pretty confident you'll like something, I'm wrong.
Well,
There
no,
you go.
you are confident I like that number 7, and I actually really agree with that
I think
one.
when you play with your kids, you're gonna have a very good experience.
This one, this one, the game looks.
I think you'll like it. I don't know if you'll love it,
I don't
but
know
I
if
think
you'll
you'll
like it
like
as
It
it.
doesn't
much
look like
as
there's a
I
lot of pieces in it. I
There's
guess
not,
There's
actually.
not.
There's not. It's
There's not.
fairly small.
It's a small game with oversized pieces, right? It actually
It
takes
is.
up a fair amount of table space. That could be a thing to take off.
I really like it. I think this would be my. This could be my 11. Mike.
Okay, all right.
So
this did not make your list.
this could have been my 11. Yeah. My number
That doesn't
6
sound like
though.
it's not on this list.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm saying it's like 11 or 12. It's very. I really did like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was a very good year for this weight of game. Actually.
That's what I'm saying. This is like my wheelhouse this year. This game, 45 minutes to an hour probably.
Yeah.
Turns super fast. The race. You just right away you feel like you're shot out of a cannon in this
I agree.
game, and
I
love
agree. It's
that.
got a good feel to it.
And if you are in a non-English speaking country, I think it's called Orichalque, Q-U-E at the end, just in case you're having trouble finding
In
it.
French, I guess.
I
I'm
believe
guessing.
in French, German
Yeah.
maybe also. So
All
there you
right.
go.
My number 6 is actually a crossover with you, Mike.
Oh.
And it's a game that kind of came out of nowhere this year. It's one that I think from announcement to being out, it was a fairly short window for me. It's I pronounce it Orichalcum.
Oh, you little.
That's because he said it could have been my number 11. You got to learn to live with the lies.
Look at that crossover at the same number.
lies.
5 little lies. Ba-dum-bum-bum.
What? Ba-da-bum.
No, that's from the Muppets.
Oh, I don't know about the
version
Muppets,
of-
okay? We're talking about Greece or Rome or one of those two. I really like this game. It is a great game. Mike already expounded on the game.
Is that guy landing like a superhero?
Yeah, it's a superhero landing.
It's doing the Black Widow thing, you know.
That's what I was asking.
Superhero landing, yeah. Everything Mike said, not any stronger or any weaker because it's the same number. And I figured this was going to be on your list, and I was correct.
You are correct.
So far, I have 4 predictions on here. One of the 4 has happened. The others have yet to be proven wrong.
Okay.
There we go. That's my
All
6.
right. My number 6 is all Euro game here. A heavy Euro game, but I love this game. And not all Euro games need to be beige. This is Federation.
Oh,
I
what is this?
really love
yeah.
this. This is a big Euro game in which you are in the Senate. That
Is
is
it a
definitely,
Euro game?
It's definitely not based on
quite
the
Euro.
Star Wars Senate at all. But in this game, you are placing these people in the Senate, but you can place them on one of two sides. Each disc has two sides, which I really like because one side is about area control, and the other side is about possible endgame scoring and getting extra resources. And then when you put them on these things, you get to move up tracks. If you like to move up tracks, this is Move Up Tracks, the game.
It is.
Now I vaguely remember looking at that board, but
It is a colorful
yeah.
kaleidoscope of joy.
I should have remembered this would be on your list. I forgot, but yeah, you loved
I
I did not
really
realize
like
this
this
was.
game.
I did not. I guess I didn't catch that you were enamored with this one.
Well, I mean, you move on the asteroid track, you're getting resources. It almost feels like board and dice game in many ways, I
I can see
feel.
that, yeah.
But
Tederations.
But I really feel like everything comes
That's a
together.
terrible joke. I don't
You have a lot of cool actions that you take. You want to get these bonus actions that matter. There's different tracks. You pick which track. You're not going to be able to move up all of them probably. So you pick which ones. I just find it to be a lot of fun. So this is from Excite 8, I think is the name of the company.
Small little publisher, right?
Yeah, and I really like
Really,
their
that's
stuff.
a big old game.
It is. I mean, with a lot of components and yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It was a solid game. Like it was a brain burner though, man. My head was like,
Really? So you played it also?
I did. I played
So
it.
my number 6, Federation.
All right, my number 5 is a crossover, and it's a game that I feel like is having a bit of the what I'm going to call the wingspan effect, in that I am seeing a lot of negativity expressed towards it for, I think, silly reasons. My number 5 is Flamecraft.
Yeah, crossover. I didn't think it was this high on your list, actually.
Yeah, no, I think this game does exactly what it sets out to do. First of all, I'm hearing people, this is a $200 game. No, it's not. This is a game that, yes, you can deluxe fight if you want, but it's a beautiful production at the retail level, right?
Yeah, it really is.
It really is. So, yes, you can talk about the beauty and you can talk about the cute factor, all of which is there in abundance. And if that doesn't appeal to you, that's fine. But that doesn't mean that it's not a viable family weight game, because that's what this is, slightly higher even than family weight, I would say. It is a really, really solid game system, which again is right the type. This is a game I love teaching, if that says anything. I love introducing
me,
this game to people. I
jerk.
love teaching this game. I could pull it out right now on the table, and I could
said
teach it
people.
without having to refer to the rule book. That means a lot to me, right? I've internalized this rule set because it makes sense. There's no rules there really that I can think of that don't need to be there. It's very simple. Place a dragon, get resources, or turn those resources in to kind of fulfill contracts. And you, like Tom said, it's nice in that when you go to these shops, you are making them more powerful every time you go there. You're bringing out new shops, and those new shops have abilities. The dragons, to me, I think one of the smartest design decisions they made in this game was that I think there are, 5, 6 different types of dragons?
Right.
Every one of those dragons have the same power.
Yes.
So if you're playing an Iron
That's a
Dragon,
big difference.
you know what that Iron Dragon does. It doesn't matter if it's named Chonkers or if it's whatever.
Chonkers?
There is one named Chonkers. I don't know if it's an Iron Dragon. Every Iron Dragon works the same way. Every Bread Dragon works the same way. That is really smart. There's plenty of variety in there. You don't need to have 75 different powers you're having to refer to a rule book for. Very, very smart design, clever design, plays in a really nice amount of time, has a nice wide player count. I really think that Flamecraft is a game that we could be talking about many years from now.
Oh man, I really want to play this. I wish I'd played it. That would have been that probably could have been a 3-way crossover. Because honestly, now or never, get that out of here, okay?
Garbage.
That could have easily been replaced. Just say. All right, my number 5 is a crossover with the one of you two that said it already, and the other one's going to say it soon.
Oh, okay.
Heat. Pedal to the metal.
I told you he's
said
on my
He
list.
is coming up on Tom's list. I will not fall for his lies.
I don't lie
He's
like
the
you do.
father of all lies. the uncle of all tricks. And he's somehow related to tomfoolery. Through name, honestly.
That's true.
Heat, Pedal to the Metal is a fantastic racing game. Like Mike said, and I feel like I'm just riding coattails here.
You are.
It puts that feeling of speed front and center.
Yes.
What a stupid comment. I have a
What is
sister
it?
named Chonkers says Chewy
Chewy
Baka.
Baka.
Where I have a sister named Chalk.
So that's
love that.
That's some
Oh,
very
I love
clever
that.
parents. So you got Chewy Baka.
And
And
Chonkers
You got
Baka.
Chonkers Baka.
What would be the other? What would be the next one?
Chumbawamba.
Chumbawamba, maybe. Tub Thumper.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
sorry, I didn't mean to go back. Talk about Heat.
No, I'm good. I don't really have a lot to say, honestly. Mike said a lot of it. This is a solid game. I'm enjoying it a lot, and I definitely assume they're coming out with an expansion. I want that too.
There's room even in the expansion
Right,
right now, or in the insert right now.
Yeah, the insert has room for 2 or 3 more cars, 2 or 3 more gear sticks. It's
Right.
like obvious that they're
Correct.
thinking, hey, we can put some more stuff in here. I don't know if I necessarily want more cars, actually.
Yeah, the cars I don't care about.
Yeah,
but the
but-
maps 100%.
Cards, there's room for cards.
yes.
And if you throw another double-sided map in there,
Yeah.
You know, I said that Flamecraft would be one of the most popular games. This might come
Could
up there
be.
too.
It could be.
I
other-
think Heat is going to be the biggest hit they've had since since Five Tribes.
Probably.
Since Five Tribes.
That's probably fair to say. I wonder
it's not
if
that hard. They've
I
had a
wonder
lot
if the
of-
racing theme is popular enough, but we'll see. I mean, Formula D's been a popular
Racing
game.
games are super popular.
Okay.
Look at Downforce.
Yeah, Downforce. That's true. It's a betting game, but yeah, it's a racing
It's-
theme.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
people like racing.
Yeah.
and there's not a lot of competition.
That's very true. Yeah,
You know.
it's a great game.
All right, back to giant games for my number 5. This is the biggest miniatures around. And thank you, Blake, for the super chat. This is Oathsworn. Oathsworn is a game that it's
There's a lot of
fantastic.
like big old games.
I need
on
to
your
play
list
this
year.
game.
There really
My
is.
goodness.
And you've still got Massive Darkness 2 coming up.
you'll-
Hellscape.
True.
You'll note that I'm not biased necessarily just because the game's big. In fact,
Yeah.
if a game's big, I go in with almost a negative attitude these days.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot more work. And when I first saw this at Gen Con, I saw these trees that are in this picture.
Yeah, the
and I was
sensor
like,
trees, yeah.
I was like, no, this is too big. This must be a demo that they're showing.
Right.
And when I found out it was a real game, I was like, this is stupid. And you know what? The plastic trees are stupid. They really are. But the gameplay is amazing. And it's in 2 very, 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 very fun parts. I just realized there was a censored bar there.
Yeah.
There's the story-driven.
Didn't see
There's the story-driven first half of each game.
Very well
which is
written.
really well written.
Yeah, I love it. It's grimdark in all the best ways.
But it's grimdark in a way that I found enjoyable. For once,
Yeah.
not everyone hates you in this story.
Right, right.
You're a group of you're Oathsworn, and you come to town, and people are like, oh, some people don't like you, but I do get tired of everyone hating you after a while.
Sure, yeah.
And then you fight one big boss, but you do so with a very clever combat mechanism, which has one of the best push your luck combat things I like. Where you basically can add not as many cards as you want, but a lot of cards, or dice, but depending which way you want to play. But the more you add, the bigger the chance that you whiff. But if you don't whiff, oh my word, it's such a cool system, and the characters are very different. I think if you like the combat in Gloomhaven, you'll like the combat in Oathsworn. They're very different combats, but they're also both very strategic in how you play cards.
Okay. Yeah, I need to try. This is another one I need to try, especially if someone's teaching me.
Yeah, this is a fantastic game, Oathsworn.
DEF CON. Really? I just got the highest frame rate over here.
Don't
Sorry.
do that, you're saying? Not good. Got it. Sorry.
My number 4 is a game that has the potential to go even in higher esteem, because this is a game that came out very recently, honestly. This is the newest game on my list. Just newer than Lands of Galzer. Yeah, it's the newest game on my list. My number 4 is the beginning of a new trilogy.
I thought this was your number.
jeez.
I thought this was like your number 2.
Look, I
So
mean, it's
sick
only
of
because
this
I haven't
guy.
played it as much. That's why I'm saying this has the potential to raise up. This is Wayfarers of the South Tigers from designers Jem Phillips and Sam McDonald. So Garfield Games, the publisher, is one that has kind of made a name for themselves by making these series of games. You've got the North Sea games that were the first, Raiders of the North Sea being the most well-known there with some worker placement going on. And then you had the West Kingdom games, which had Architects and Paladins and Viscounts. Very well-esteemed games. This is the first of a new series that they're going to be focusing more on dice. This has probably the complexity of Paladin, so that means that it's in the upper level of the complexity, but this game is so good. It is so good. The way it uses dice is clever. It does feel slightly different.
Although we are getting to the point where now, I think if we play a game and you roll dice and hit somebody, I'd be like, holy cow, I haven't seen dice used that way before.
Yeah, that's
I'm
true.
used to placing them out or whatever.
Right. You're still
it's getting a little less clever.
It is. You're still placing dice here, but it's a smart way of upgrading your dice so that each number represented on a 6-sided die has particular symbols that you are kind of attaching to them that are going to allow you to be able to use those to place on cards. So many of the dice placement spots have a requirement. Oh, you need to have this type of a symbol to do that. Well, now all of my 3s have that symbol. I can place it there, take the associated action. You also have workers that you can place, but the idea is that really this is a set collection game. You are trying to explore lands, which are cards that go to the left of your board, seas, which are cards that go to the right of your board, and then the stars, which go above both of those cards.
The stars are
beautiful, beautiful art from the Micho.
That wasn't a joke.
No, yeah, it is. It's a beautiful game,
Jerk.
but man, this game is so good. It's at the point right now where I do feel like if you're counting just base games without adding any expansions,
And you should.
this might be my favorite of the base games. Although I need to
Of
play it
all of
more.
them?
I need to play it more to be definitive, but it's very much in the running for that.
Does that include Hadrian's Wall?
That is not in the mix here. I consider that's in the ancient
He sets the
series.
parameters, sir. I actually, other than, if you're going by base games, because
Yeah.
Raiders with the expansions is amazing.
It's incredible, yeah.
I might be following up on that.
Yeah.
Although
You played this too?
I do, I like it. I did not put it in my top.
I don't believe you.
top
You gave it
10.
an 8, so
I
you
gave it
like
an 8.
Yeah.
But I would like to play more of it, and,
Sure.
and who knows as time goes by. But there's a few little things that I was not as enamored with,
Sure.
but it's solid. It's a very solid game.
Okay.
Whatever. It could be your number 4. You didn't play it. I know that.
Yeah, you didn't-
My number 4 is my most recently played game.
Oh.
Wait, what did you play?
Oh, I know what it is then. You just played it live.
Long Shot the Dice Game?
That is correct.
Wow.
Whoa!
That was in my surprise.
That was sharp. Mike is a quick fella. He's small, spry, like a spider hanging from a web.
Come into my parlor, little fly.
Come in.
Long Shot, the dice game, is a fantastic adaptation of Long Shot, which came out, I don't know, a decade ago. Was a solid game, one I liked, but it was kind of long. It was a little clunky, maybe. And while I still had it, actually, until I got this game, I still had Long Shot, which I've now let go because this is so much better. But until this came along, I would have said, this is a little long, but I don't know what I would change. And then this comes along and rewrites the entire thing, makes it snappy, makes it faster, uses roll and write in a way that doesn't feel completely tacked on. And I found like the original game didn't lose a whole lot in being translated to this form factor. That's the thing. If you take a game the size of Ticket to Ride and you turn that into, it's like the size of, smaller than my shoe. It's like a little thing. And yet I don't feel like I lost that much. That's a success. I really, really like this game. Again, we just played this live today. I did not win. It was higher up on my list, but since I didn't win, it dropped a couple of places. But it landed at number 4 for me. I very much recommend Long Shot, the dice game. The 4th best game of the year.
My number 4 is...
Of the year.
Of all year.
I'm the only person of all the dice that would put this on their list for sure. I think.
Keep making a lot of assumptions.
Tell you what.
And this one I think is also, you mentioned Master of Darkness too. I think this one is also hampered by the name. Because it's a very different game than the game that it's based on. And
Donkey
this is
business.
Ascension Tactics.
What is
Now,
that?
Ascension,
Really? Wow.
I-
First of all, I forgot that was this year.
I
forgot it
love.
existed.
I don't care.
What is it?
I love Ascension Tactics. Is a two. Well, I guess you can play more than 2 players, but for the most part, a 2-player tactical game, which, if you know, I really like that kind of game.
I know you do, yeah.
And this
Is it a card game? Oh, miniatures, okay.
Why do I have this memory of you talking about this game like 4 years ago?
No,
it's
that's
been a long
Furnace.
year, Mike.
You're thinking of Furnace.
Furnace! There we go. My number 3...
I gotta reset, Mike. Hang on. Let me widen the thing in the back. No, Ascension Tactics uses cards. It's for the base game, and there's a lot of different ways to play it. But for the base game, you have 4 heroes, or whoever, 4 people fighting against someone else. But it's a little bit of a deck building, and you're using the deck to move, to buy cards that will upgrade your heroes, give them better equipment, to fight other people. It's so good. Wow. I love this game. It's fast. It's furious. It's just amazing.
Is it too fast?
No,
Is it too furious?
It is not.
Tokyo
Would you
Drift?
say it drifts? Yeah. Yeah. In fact, it's right here, right now.
Is it all about the family?
Do not disparage my pick. Here, look. If you like Summer Wars, if you like this, it doesn't matter if you like Ascension or not. You could dislike Ascension and like this game.
It doesn't feel like really as much like
It
Ascension,
looks like
right?
like a completely unrelated miniatures game, isn't
it?
it?
It is related in many ways. It's the same. It's the same people. The same
characters.
Justin Gary, you mean, like the designer?
No, I'm saying like the different characters in the
world.
game. Yeah, it's the same world, same universe and stuff. So there's a lot going on in this. You're very distracting.
No, I'm sorry. I'm just peeking.
Ascension Tactics. I love this game. Number 4.
Surprised. I am surprised. Come on, Vassal! Even after I basically got it started for you, still fail me.
My number
you
3,
failed me for the last time.
My number 3 is a game that has forgotten depth.
Is that the name?
No,
That's this.
My number 3 is a crossover, actually. It is a crossover with one Mr. Z. Garcia.
Yeah!
There we go. Thank you for the
I
super
don't know why I
chat.
bring both if you're going to just put all the same games.
Okay,
Look.
let me see. This is going to be 4.
No, this is number 3, right?
3?
We're in 3 already, yeah.
Long shot?
No, although I like Long Shot the Dice game
Skate
a lot.
Summer.
My number 3 is Skate Summer. Yeah,
I figured this was on your list.
Yeah. Z, this one would have been way up on my surprises list if I didn't have it here because I really didn't have, a whole lot of interest. I did a little bit of skateboarding when I was a kid.
I saw you doing it last week.
Well, that's true. That was
PAX.
Right.
He was going through the halls.
That's right. I also wasn't at PAX.
On his wheelies.
Played a little bit of Tony Hawk video games, but this is one where the theme is great, but that's not why I think the game is so good. It's exactly what you said. It's a game that has 2 distinct phases that integrate so well. I do, the push your luck is the best part of it, but the map play is not just an add-on. It's there, right? And what makes it consequential is that in the beginning, when you're trying to balance by doing push your luck, playing cards to either side of your board allows you to do tricks. Those are going to be the same cards you're using to move around the board. That's such a smart decision, right?
Yeah.
It really is smart. And so it may impact that luck you're pushing because you want to get certain colors of cards on your board.
Yeah.
And if you watched Camilla's list, she also mentioned something that I really like about this game a lot, which is that unlike a lot of push your luck games, it's not an all or nothing. If you bust, it sucks. You're not going to be able to do everything you want to do, but your turn wasn't wasted. You still are going to be able to do something, just not as much as you would have otherwise. Another smart decision. Upgrading, if you like upgrading parts of your board.
I do.
This is there. Little tracks, if you
There's
like.
a lot of that in this one,
Yeah, there is.
actually,
If you like moving up little tracks, there are going to be score multipliers.
I feel like
it's
he's
here.
just trying to get me to
if
play
you
it
like
now.
games that are easy to explain, easy to learn, easy to teach.
No, that I don't like.
Then
If you like a lot of colors,
if you like a
loud
very
colors,
bright, maybe garish board, and cover.
if that
you
is
got
your
it.
general aesthetic,
Right.
then I think you're going to like this
This is a game I knew nothing about. It came absolutely out of nowhere to me and knocked me out. My number 3 is Skate Summer.
Skateboard said knock you out.
Mama said what? My number 3 is coming up on Mike's list.
Oh.
My number 3 is Trekking Through History.
Oh, okay.
It's not on my list.
You gave it a 9.
It's right up there,
You
man.
gave it a 9,
It's right
sir.
up there. I pushed, everything else pushed it down. Everything else pushed it down. It's a great game. This would be probably my 11.
Maybe he's lying like you are.
I'm not lying. This probably would be my 11. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I have nothing to say. I'm flabbergasted.
I thought you liked.
Okay.
I love the game. I
I'm
love all
flabber.
these games.
In fact, I'm flabbergasted.
Well, you should
That's
be.
No, don't keep it in.
I don't know what to say. Mike,
Talk about the game.
I refuse.
Okay.
This is actually an amazing game.
This is a fantastic
I obviously
game.
like it way more than Mike, who hates it.
It's not on your list either.
No, but that's
This
because
will be
I
my
have.
11. It's still a 9.
This
It's
is my 11.
fantastic.
That's not true.
Anyway,
but
okay,
it's higher than
trekking
you might
through
think.
history. Again, in a year crowded with family weight games, with welcoming games, with attractive games, manages to stand out.
It does.
Even among all those things, it's one that is incredibly easy to teach. It's one that is easy to get into, and it's one that slowly reveals its genius, which is more subtle than I expected when I
agree.
first played it, as you are playing that game, and in fact, over multiple plays. I love this feeling of you can do anything. It's incredibly easy to do basically anything, but there's that push and pull between, do I go on a chronologically long trip, doing these historical things, and again, these guys are the best at doing history and real world stuff included in a game without making it feel educational.
Yeah, you're right.
The backs of these cards are all going to have some factual information about these things you're doing. Anyway, there's a great balance between that long trip and forgetting the trip, just getting whatever card is going to give you the tokens you want to complete your daily itinerary. That's such a fun push and pull.
Yeah.
The game is quick. The standard edition, i.e. the only edition, is gorgeously done. There's a play mat in there. There's a great insert in there.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. That's not like an
No,
upgrade.
there's
That's
one
it.
edition
That's
of this
the
game.
only one.
I mean, technically, I think the
For
Kickstarter...
$40, I think, or
It was,
50. I mean,
it
it's
was 30 yesterday on Amazon. They had those little time warp cards that were Kickstarter exclusive, but they're now going to make those available.
right. Those are now. Yeah,
I haven't played with the time warp cards, but I heard they make the game even better.
They're
do.
even better.
They
I would
do.
say.
They
yeah.
really do. Yeah, it killed me to leave this off my list. It killed me.
I'm going to kill you for leaving it off
Fair
your
enough.
list. Okay.
My number 11.
There you go. That's my number 3.
All right, I'm back to gigantic games again. I said Frosthaven was the
Man,
biggest.
this has been a
This
big
one
year.
is number 2.
Here we go.
But this is actually a small game in a big box.
Hellscape.
Foundations of Rome.
Oh, yeah.
I
Okay.
love this game. I really do. And yes, it's big, but I'll tell you what, I just played this a few weeks ago, brought it out, and I thought it's hard to imagine it being smaller now because those buildings are gorgeous. Putting them out on that board, Emerson just his ability to make a very streamlined game
Yes.
really shows out in this game. It's absolutely fun. You're taking a card, or buying a card, or you're taking money, or you're placing a building. That's basically it. Ah, what a great concept! And it hasn't gotten dull. I've been playing this for well over a year now, and I'm still very excited about it. And there's all these little modules that I barely touch.
Yeah.
I'm really happy with the base game here.
It really, yeah.
So-
Well, yeah, if the base game is, if the only issue is the wash or not, I mean, you're still getting incredible, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, the wash is great, right? But I mean,
Yeah.
again, that's the way I feel about any kind of game with miniatures. So
That's
there's
true.
that. But I just love how this plays. So yeah, Foundations of Rome. It's the biggest Eurogame miniature game that exists currently. But despite all that, I think it's fantastic. My number 3.
There you go.
This isn't what I wanted at all for Christmas,
Oh
Dad.
man, what is
You're going to go on
Ah,
an adventure and you're going to like it.
this? Yeah, it's a hand-me-down.
Clearly. All right, so
It's not being blocked properly.
couple of
go.
prefaces to my number 2. Number 1 is that depending upon where you live in the world, this is maybe not available yet. So keep that in mind. This was an Essen release.
So Frosthaven.
Number 2, this
Straight up ignores.
every year,
on, Mike.
every year it seems like there's a game that I feel like I'm going to be the champion for it because I don't know that people are going to like it as much as I do, but I just
Oh, I know
love
what
it.
this is.
I just
Tokyo Poo Divers.
You know, that's one of my biggest regrets is we didn't get to
I'm
that
so
booth
sad
in
about
time.
that. I'm actually
We
sad
did
about
not
that
get
too.
to that booth. We got there
We
right as the last
went.
poo diver was
Mike.
being
We
sold.
went. We hovered.
right.
We considered the poo.
We considered the
and
poo
we
diving.
decided not to pursue the poo.
No, I
Then
got
you
there.
Then we went back to the booth.
Right.
You mentioned to Tom, who literally threw money at you. He was like,
did.
"Go, fetch the poo."
Right.
And we went back,
I would like to argue, but this is pretty much what happened.
It's what happened.
and the poo was gone.
Yeah. There was a tear in the man's eye as he told me that all the poo was gone. My number 2 is
I'm
not
so glad for these stories.
Your number
Tokyo
2?
poo is not-
Get it.
No, that's good. That's good stuff. I thought if anyone's going to be coming with a poop joke, it'd be me. No. My number 2 is a card game, essentially, although you have a board in front of you as well. And I don't know what... this game is great. Tribes of the Wind is my number 2.
Really?
Yeah, I gave it a 9. Again, you know...
Yeah, but you also gave a 9 to...
I did.
So
I
I take
did.
it through history, yeah.
So Tribes of the
Liar.
Wind, as I said, is essentially a card game where you have got cards that are of different colors that represent different kind of seasons, right? And you are able to see the backs of other players' cards. And the cards that you play are going to be triggered based on the cards that you have and your neighbors. So kind of Seven Wonders style, you're really... oh, no, that's only on certain cards. You're looking at all the cards around you, but certain
Right.
cards will only trigger on your neighbors. And they're going to allow you to do different things on your player board, where you're trying to remove pollution. You're trying to place out these forest tiles. You've got wind riders that are moving around your board that are going to allow you to build
You're making
these
that
villages.
Wind Rider thing sound so much more
You've got
interesting than
wind
it is.
riders who are swooping down from the trees. And they're onto
really.
these
Gotta
forest
play this
tiles.
game. Ain't
Come
no
on,
win, right?
That are
Okay.
going to allow you to build villages, and it's a race, another race game of 5, basically. You're racing to get those 5 villages built. You've got temples. It's slightly asymmetric, which I like, but not so asymmetric that you have a hard time teaching it. This game is just, certain games, again, every year that are in my wheelhouse, this is that game where
Right.
I was like, this isn't going to be for everybody. Some people are going to be like, yeah, it's fine. For me, I love this game. The look doesn't hurt, right? Another Vincent Dutrait game. But my goodness, I love this game. I just love the simplicity and the puzzle of the card play. Again, it's another tactical game more than anything else. There's a little bit of strategy in you're trying to set up those forest tiles on your board. There's a little long-term planning there, a little bit of long-term planning in end game goals that you are placing out. But oh my gosh, I love this game. I'll be interested to see if it makes any kind of a splash at all once it becomes more readily available. I doubt it.
I don't think
I
it
really
will,
doubt
Mike.
it. I think this will be a very niche title, but I
I'm
do
surprised
think it
you
has
like
some wide
it
appeal.
this
I love
much.
It. I love it.
I mean, I find it amusing and fun to play, but I'm already starting to forget a
Oh,
bit
you
of
did
it.
play this.
Yeah, he played it. He didn't play with us, but he played it. So
It's there's like no strategy. It's all tactics. You're like,
It
what
is
cards do I
all
have now?
reactive. It's very reactive.
There's
There's a little tag.
little
There's
Okay,
a
fine.
little
Yes, you
bit,
could grab
yes.
some cards. And the Wind Rider thing I found to be very boring, moving them around.
Wind Rider's where it's at. You can catapult your Wind Riders across your board. What are you talking about? Wind Riders are where it's at, baby.
The very definition of theme.
My
Yeah,
sister's
come on.
name is Wind Rider.
All right. All right. Oh, jeez.
Wind Rider Delicia.
My number 2. Here we
Beautiful
go.
name.
My number 2 was just mentioned up there that it might be my number 2. My number 2 is Evergreen.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
Zod, the person by the name of Zod Tan, which is how I like my skin to look, is correct.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I love a good Zod Tan. This is and again, we've kind of mentioned this before, a bit of a spiritual follow-up to photosynthesis.
Yeah, it
Yes.
is, for
But
sure.
while I don't really care about photosynthesis, and I've played it, I don't dislike it. I just never think of it. I don't remember what I would rate it. I don't care for it. I'm not interested in playing it again. Evergreen knocked my socks off with how much with how it takes some of the ideas in photosynthesis, namely the sun moving around and casting sunlight, trees casting shadows, allowing for things to score or not score, that main thing, and took that and everything else was this gorgeous, fun, quick puzzle that works for me. This idea of where do I make my groups? Where do I set things so that the shadow and the patterns work out? all of that wrapped around this very clean card drafting thing. Very straightforward. Pick a card, do a couple of things with that card, boom. It also has that fun element, which a few games have done in the past, but I always enjoy it. It's a small mechanism, but it always makes me go, I like that. That thing of, there's 4 of us drafting,
Right.
there's 5 cards, the last one that no one took does something.
I love that.
I love that. I don't care what it does. Everybody gets to mark a thing on your roll and write.
Yeah.
Or it goes over here and it does a whatever. I love it. I don't care what you do with it. Do something with that last card.
You know, one of the things that's great about that, and I just thought of this, is that a lot of times if you're the last person in player order, you feel like
it kind of sucks. You're like, oh.
you've got a big decision if you're the last person
Yeah,
in
in
player
this
order.
game,
here.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really
So-
smart. Really smart. And every change it made to photosynthesis is significantly better.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I really like the look as well. I think this is a gorgeous game. That's obviously up to you if you like it or not, but I think the cover and graphically how clean this is, and how minimalistic everything looks. I really like that look. So Evergreen, slam dunk for me this year. A game I rated, I think, a 9, and I put on the list where it should be.
All right. Frederick, thank you for the super chat. We appreciate it. All right. I really struggled between my number 2 and number 1 for a while, and then I finally put this at number 2. But
They're
this
both
is,
Hellscape.
It is. It's Massive Darkness.
Oh!
This is my favorite dungeon crawl by a mile, and I almost didn't back it because of the name.
Yeah.
And when I did get it, I was like, But then I read the rules, and I was like, wow, each class has their own mini game you're playing, which is why I think you would like it almost.
Yeah, no, I'm very much looking forward to this now.
It's been a big game year for you this year, Tom.
It has
Yes.
been. And
Wow, man.
I get that, and it's just the way it is. Those are the ones I like. It's not that I'm saying these are my 10 recommendations people get. These are my
of
10
course,
favorite
yeah.
games. But also, one of the reasons I love Massive Darkness is because it's not as big as you might think. In the sense of, it's a game that, it's not campaign.
Yeah.
I pull it out. I plug and play. I say, these are the monsters I'm using. These are the other things I'm doing. So, anyhow, Massive Darkness 2. I love all the different classes. Thank you. I love all the different classes. I'm not going last anymore because I'm getting totally...
I don't know what's happening right now, or what?
Okay, Massive Darkness. I love the plug and play nature of the characters.
Yes.
I love that you can go back and play all the stuff from Massive Darkness 1 if you want in it, and all the zombie
can.
side. Well, they have a conversion kit,
Jeez.
so there's so many different characters. There's so much fun stuff going on in it, and it is essentially kick the door down and fight stuff.
Okay.
Which sometimes that's what I want to do.
Right.
I like Gloomhaven in the sense that I'm sorry. I like Frosthaven. I'll say that now. You play the cards very strategic. Oathsworn, very strategic.
Yeah.
Massive Darkness is like, let's see what happens.
Yeah, this is kind of like
It's just fun.
Frosthaven is to like Gran Turismo, the car racing game
Okay.
and video game.
Yeah.
As like this is to like, San Francisco Rush.
Yeah.
Or something stupid like
Outrun.
cruising USA. You know
This
what
is
I mean?
the NBA
It's just
Jam.
like, yeah, this is the NBA
Oh, that's a
Jam
good
of
call.
games. It's just
I'm in. That sounds great.
boom shakalaka, stupid stuff.
It
you know what I
really
mean?
is. And if you don't like
fun.
Massive Darkness, and that's why you haven't played it, you really got to try it. It's so different.
That was me. That was
so
me.
Check it out. That's my number 2. He's not going to watch.
It might. You don't know.
All right. Well, look, my number 1 is probably not a surprise to many people. I've seen
Wait.
people mentioning it in the chat.
It's something we don't have here in Florida.
We don't. Not really. In name only.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, so my number 1 is Endless Winter,
What?
a game that I have been, anticipating a lot. But look, if the game had fallen flat for me, it would have fallen flat. There have been games that I've anticipated that just didn't do it for me.
I would like to say quick, for all of us here at the Dice Tower Studio, we're thankful. We were all very, very thankful the day Mike got his copy.
Yes.
Because
yeah.
never had I heard so much complaining about not getting a
I'm
copy.
pretty sure I am the person that was last to get their copy delivered.
We know that you told us this every day. You're like, look, so-and-so has a copy. Look, do you remember this?
Yeah, every single time I
It
saw a
wasn't-
picture
We
of
were
someone.
at Essen also, and there were copies there.
Oh, they
in
were,
a lot
they
of
were
places,
everywhere.
yeah.
They were everywhere. Yeah. They were available retail. Yeah, it
Oh
was
my
all over the
gosh.
place. And anyway,
Oh my
the
gosh.
bottom line is this. So you talked earlier about how you like deck building when it's just a driving That's this game.
Yeah.
I like area control when it's an aspect of a game, but it's not the whole game. That's this game. I like when you can make your own character somewhat asymmetrical. That's this game. I like games that look good. That's this game. There's just everything about this game speaks to me. It's one of those games that more I looked at it and read about it, I was like, yeah, I have a feeling. This designer has been one that has really started to raise, like, I keep waiting for a game of his that I don't like, Stan Kordonsky. And I haven't found it yet. His new game, Resurgence, is very good, but I need to play that more.
Man, you said you keep looking for a game of his that you don't like? You're like actively wanting that?
No, I don't. It'd be great if it didn't happen, but it hasn't
They're going to leave
yet.
you unfulfilled, though.
Well, look, it is what it
You
is.
should get the things you want. You
Finally, it could happen.
You deserve the things you want, Mike.
But this was clearly a game that had a big team behind it, too. First game from this publisher, Fantasia Games, which is ridiculous for a
This
first.
is how you knock it out of the park.
Right. I mean,
this reminds me actually of like when Mojito Games put out, Cleopatra and the Society of Architects.
Right.
Was that their first game?
That's the first game.
Yeah.
And they went enormous.
Right.
But there were some issues along the way. Some
Sure.
pretty serious production issues, I would say.
Yeah.
This is their first production.
Right.
And there's a lot of content here. It's a
Yes.
big old base game, but all sorts of expansions.
Yes.
This is called knocking it out of the park.
Wow, this is a great
And on your
top 10
first
list.
time out,
Yeah. No, they
I got to do that sometime.
you got to do it. In fact, I have my top 10 right here. Look.
They have this, and then they also come out with they're going to be coming out.
Look
with
at it.
Unconscious Mind. So yeah, it's a publisher to look out for, I think, for sure. But this game really speaks to me. Love it. I've talked a lot about it, and I'm sure I will continue to in lists throughout the time. My number one of 1920, 2022.
I don't know your number
Of
one.
1920,
1920,
22.
2022.
I'm trying to think what your number one is.
Endless Winter.
Hang on, let me look at the People's Choice.
Paleo.
Maybe it's one of those.
It won't be on there.
Art by the Micho. Designed by
You don't
Stan
have to keep
Kordonsky.
that there.
Development by Johnny Pack and others. A
No, it's not
fantastic
on the
production.
People's
I'm just going to keep
Choice.
talking.
What are you doing?
I don't know what's happening
Shut
to my
up.
left.
Oh, we stopped listening to you a long time ago.
I won't-
Sorry,
Okay.
we moved on.
Number
Okay.
one. You don't know what it is?
Who's the designer? Will that narrow it down?
I
Wait a
don't know,
minute.
some
Is
Spanish cat.
it a crossover?
No.
Spanish game?
I said it's some Spanish cat.
Oh, is it the solo game that you guys like? Is it solo game?
Resist? No, you
No.
didn't like Resist.
No, I liked it okay. I didn't like it that much.
I thought Resist would be on your top 10.
It
by
was
the
on
way.
my number 2 solo.
It's a reworking of a previous game. That
Caper
was a,
Europe?
That was a reworking of a previous game.
Caper Europe.
That's it. Caper Europe.
There we
Oh,
go.
okay. I mean, why did you say yes?
I just because I wanted a dramatic pause. That's why.
Wow.
Caper Europe is my number one. And yes, it's a bit of a reworking again, but I feel like the reworking is decent. There's a lot of stuff that changed.
Yeah.
I mean, it now has a board. There's a bunch of things that went away. I thought the overhead, which is funny because having played Caper, the previous iteration of this, these issues were not apparent to me. I played Caper.
Yeah.
I thought Caper's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah.
It's like a solid 9, And then I play Caper Europe, and I go, oh, there were all these issues with Caper that I didn't even think of, like upkeep, for example. You have to keep a running tally of influence on the 3 sides, your side of 3 locations. Caper Europe does away with that with this simplified system and a, if you'll pardon the usage, a seesaw
Oh.
that denotes whether I'm winning a location or you're winning, which is updated in real time when I add influence to it. I no longer need to track that. Immediately, that right there makes the game so much more accessible. It's incredibly well balanced. The artwork, just like the last one, is gorgeous.
Yeah.
The box has room to breathe now. It's a little bit bigger. And it has that board. Production quality, fantastic. With the metal coins, with the absolutely lush, wonderful cards. The whole thing makes for an absolute stunner, in my opinion. One that, again, I already liked the previous one, but this one's even better. And makes it one of my favorite 2-player games of all time. I think Caper Europe, if you are a fan of 2-player games, especially tug-of-war style games,
yeah.
of which there are many, to be fair, this, I think, is one of the very best ones ever made. If you're a fan of things like Seven Wonders or Seven Wonders Duel, if you like that kind of back and forth, you have got to try some Caper Europe. It's so good.
All right. Well, I had a list full of big games for sure.
You did.
Big giant
You
games. My
did.
number 1 is the smallest game on my list, but it's also the most played game I played this year by far. So this was a very easy pick for me, although I struggle with Massive Darkness, and that is Ready, Set, Bet.
Yeah, for sure.
I love this
For
game.
sure.
And if you've been to any convention
Yeah.
I've been at, you know that already because I probably played it with you.
Yeah.
I just, for the first time last week, finally played it with my family. And
They
my
hated
son,
it. They all hated
no,
it.
they loved it. My son should not actually bet in real life, but the problem is he won't know that from this game because he was just like randomly betting and winning all the time.
Oh, boy.
That's how I bet.
and win?
No.
Okay. Man, this game was... John D. Clare, I like his big games, okay. But his small, streamlined games are my favorite. Space Base, one of my favorite games. This one here, where someone's running the horses in real time and everyone is betting on this board here. It is such an exciting game if you get into it, and it's not for everybody. I don't think everyone's going to love this game, but if you get into it, it is so entertaining. It works with a big crowd. I played this for the first time at Gen Con, and the second and third and fourth and fifth time at Gen Con, and then I played it 25 times at the retreat or whatever. And
Yep.
man, I love this game. It is such blast. I don't know what else to say, except why am I wearing that weird hat? That is not a hat I wear.
It's a Kentucky Derby hat.
Yeah, but I'm like, yes.
I think you're beautiful.
That's the lady in the coat.
Oh, it's the same. Yeah, well,
Do you?
why can't I wear the guy's hat? That's that. This is my hat almost.
I'm going to ask you a
Almost.
question,
You're
Tom.
You're like the guy. You haven't figured it out.
I know you're going to ask.
I'm
The
gonna
answer-
ask you
the
a
answer
question,
is 3,
sir.
Mike. The answer is 3.
You've played it 3 times as the better?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I was about to say. Tom loves being
I knew that I was going to ask. No, but
But with the app, though, right?
Twice with the app,
Twice
yes.
with the app.
Would you count, and I'm serious, do you count running the horses as playing the game?
Nah, I don't care. If I'm playing D&D and I'm the dungeon master, I count that as
I
playing.
wasn't asking it as a gotcha question because I think
I was,
absolutely, even
to
if
be
Tom
clear.
had only ever ran the game, I think it could still very legitimately be your number
can
one
do whatever he
because you're
wants.
having fun running the game.
I really am.
I just was curious.
But
if
I
you-
also had a lot
That
of fun
implies
betting
that
on it.
if
I
I
really
have fun
did.
watching a game, I could put it on my list.
You know what? No.
Let's talk about that.
I
Okay?
love this game.
Impromptu back talk.
Well, let's talk about the people's choice here, which
The
you guys don't
people's
know.
choice.
Here. All
I
right,
do
so
He's going to
not
have the
know.
most crossovers. It's going to be you, I think.
It will
Tom.
not be with me. I can.
It's going to be with Tom, the most crossovers. He has the biggest games this year.
I might only have like one. I
no,
might
actually,
have 2. I might have
no.
2 crossovers.
So number
with
10
the
for the people
Yeah.
is Ready, Set, Bet.
What?
Number
Okay.
oh, you see it there. 9 is
Okay.
Verdant,
Okay.
Okay.
which is growing up
just
there.
listen.
8 is Return to Dark Tower.
Okay. Sure.
7 is Creature Comforts, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 6 is Planet
Look,
Unknown. A
here,
fantastic
let
game.
me stop
it
right
is.
there for 1 second.
Yes, let's-
We've mentioned nearly 30 games. There's one up there that got mentioned, and 4 other really good games, the ones I
Yes.
played.
Yes.
This was a fantastic year for games.
It
By the
really
way,
was.
never let anyone say that's nonsense like, oh, they don't make good games anymore. There's no good games. That, I don't
come
know what
on,
the
There's
man.
not a
criteria
game
is.
up there I don't like. I will tell you, honestly, the game I like up there least is Ready, Set, Bet, and I gave that a 7.
Yeah.
I
This
really
is a
want to hit
good
you with the
year.
clipboard right now. But
It's
the
a
game
good
I
year.
like up there at least is Verdant, but I still think it's fine. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
All right. 5 through 1. Here we go. Number 5, Heat.
Oh, I got a crossover there.
Yeah.
And another racing game, Long Shot, the dice
Yeah.
game.
Really, this
Yes.
guy, that Eye for the People, that's great.
And but I'll
love
tell
it.
you what.
I love it.
I think Heat will move up.
Oh, yes.
It's still not as
I
widely
get it.
available.
Yeah.
I get it. It's a racing pun.
Number 3 is Wonderland's War.
There's another crossover.
Okay,
yeah.
I really like this game. Didn't hit my top 10, but I think it's fantastic. Number 2, Mike will be happy. Endless Winter.
There's 3.
And number 1, making a 3-way crossover, except for Z because he hasn't bothered to play this game. Flame Trap.
Man,
4
really?
out of 10. All
Okay.
right, people.
I
a good list.
hereby swear I will play this game at some point before I perish.
Okay. Well, you better hope you make it out of here alive today. Is all I'm saying.
I was supposed to murder you though for
is
not
that what it was?
putting Striking Through History on the list.
Oh, that's right.
Lots of fantastic games, folks, and there's so many good games come out. That's why we have 10 different top 10 lists of the
Yes.
year, and more than that, and we have more top 10 lists coming. Okay, so don't forget about it. First of all, if you're just tuning in, we have a contest at the beginning of the episode. You can win a $50 gift certificate to
$50.
Game Nerds. Our Kickstarter is coming up. Check out DicetowerKickstarter.com to sign up to be notified about that. And we have one more slot left in the Winter Spectacular, which is mostly just top 10s, and the Dice Tower blooper reel. Ooh. So that's coming up at 4 o'clock. So come back then. We have 4 more top 10s and the blooper reel. We'll see you then. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Until next time, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Mike DeLisio.
I'm Z Garcia.
Have fun opening presents.
Oh.